Every gamer has their dream of making their very own PC to unleash their ultimate gamer within them. But there are certain things that one must take note of before setting up their own PC. We're about to go into detail on 9 mistakes that every new PC gamer makes, so you can avoid them. Like and subscribe if you'd like to buy this gaming setup for $1. Starting at number 9 is being a cheapskate on your power supply. If buying a PC has been on your mind and you've been waiting for some time, but you don't have the sources to do so, the last thing you want to do is to be a cheapskate and pick whatever low-cost products you can find. A gamer can be judged by how much that he's invested in his PC and how well he can maintain it. The mark of a true gamer is in his PC that isn't made of a bunch of cheap stuff. Power supply is one of the most important parts of your PC, and if you feel like you can't afford a good one, you better save up for a little while longer for a better one or choose to buy a good one on installments. Trust me, you won't regret your decision in the long run. One of the key factors to pay attention to when purchasing your power supply for your PC is taking notes of approximately how much power would be required by all the hardware you possess. While we may assume the sensible thing to do is to buy the exact amount that is required, surprisingly, it's always more useful to buy a little more wattage than the averagely required amount. Why so? Remember, we're setting up a PC for it to benefit you in the long run and not just for temporary gratification, which is why it is absolutely essential to purchase one with a slightly higher wattage so it can benefit the functioning of your system over time. You could also follow a grading system in order to help you decide what to buy. There's a certain grading system called 80+, which has grades ranging from plus to plus titanium. This can easily help you get a good conclusion on what would be a perfect power supply for your system. This grading system will choose the right wattage power supply exactly according to the requirements of your hardware. Lucky for us, you may not have to go way beyond your budget limit to get the perfect power supply, as generally there are more affordable ones than ones that are too pricey. All you have to do is to make sure that you're making the right choice when it comes to powering your system. Number 8. Mismatching components, or buying components considered to be incompatible with each other. Now, this one is a very common mistake a lot of rookie gamers make. In the hurry and enthusiasm to build your new PC, you might rush to the store and buy a bunch of products that may be convenient for your budget, but may not gel well with each other very well. But let us assure you that with our help, you're not going to be making that mistake. For any beginner here, it's not too hard to find out if the products you wish to purchase are compatible with each other or not. There are a couple of tricks you can have up your sleeve to do so. One of the quickest ways is just to use online tools to help you discern the compatibility of products. One such tool is the PC Part Picker tool, which can very easily identify if there's any underlying compatibility issues that are yet to be discovered. Some other such tools include Build My PC and WeTest, as well as more. This way, you don't end up making the same mistake that are made by a lot of new gamers. Number 7 is forgetting to install the I/O shield. Being someone who just set foot into the world of gaming, it is only natural to not be familiar with some of the terms or extra little gadgets required to be installed on your PC. And just like that, one of the easiest things to forget is the I/O shield. The I/O shield, for those of you who are unfamiliar with it, is a device or tool that resembles a metal plate. It is a removable device that has quite more significance than we give it credit for. This shield is responsible for providing casing for every little bit of input and output on the back of a PC. It is something that is very commonly neglected by new gamers, but let's be glad that we won't have to worry about making that mistake. Making sure you have this done will save you the trouble of having to dismantle your PC and set it up again from scratch. Number 6 is not adding in the motherboard standoffs. Now, this one might seem like a minor tip, but believe me, it works wonders when it comes to preserving your motherboard. Never, I repeat, never forget to fix the standoffs for your motherboard. Every motherboard comes with all the required sockets and spaces for you to fit in the adequate amount of standoffs, so it would only be a lame excuse stopping you from getting this done. The risers and standoffs help so well in preventing the scraping and shorting of the motherboard against the casing. By fixing the standoffs, you can make sure that the motherboard is slightly elevated and won't cause any of the earlier mentioned issues. Anyone who gets this done is sure to have a better maintained PC. And this tip is not just regarding the safety of your PC, but also your safety as well. Number 5 is improperly installed fans. Every gamer would love to spend a significant amount of time during their day on gaming, which means that your PC is going to be overworked and exhausted. Though a PC cannot be compared to a human being, a PC does need time to cool down too. And this is exactly where the installation of fans comes to play. We cannot stress enough the importance of keeping your system cool. An actively functioning PC is just not complete without fans installed. All the hot air generated by the PC has to be removed, and this can be done with the help of fans. A properly maintained temperature can prevent your PC from overheating and causing any further damage, but just installing them anywhere doesn't help. this has to be installed the right way. It would be a lot easier just buying a case that already has this fan installs, but then again, if you don't, you must ensure that they're all placed in the right positions because you wouldn't want the air to flow just anywhere that doesn't benefit us in any way. And number 4 is improper cable management. A lot of us tend to want to arrange our wires and cables in the most decorative manner, but you must take note that it isn't just decoration or a beautiful arrangement that matters when it comes to cable management. Just like how fans tend to cool down the PC, properly managed cables can do the same too, and it's super easy. Just throw in a bunch of Velcro straps and cable ties, and you'll very easily have neatly arranged cables. The cables, when arranged this way, takes care of the system not having airflow blockages and even gives the whole system a good amount of cooling. To give your little gaming PC space a more clean look, it would really help to stack the cables behind the motherboard tray and maintain a safe distance away from the other major parts of the PC. Maintain a good separation within the case and throw in a bunch of cable combs as well. Just these little steps can so easily one-up the look of your PC and keeping it sufficiently neat. Number 3, lack of knowledge on how to apply thermal paste. Now, as we've kinda hammered on, cooling is one of the key factors to be maintained to ensure your PC lives long. Just like how us humans need sunscreen to keep us safe from the incredibly damaging heat and UV rays of the sun, thermal paste is what your PC needs for it to maintain its own sort of cooling. With proper management of your PC's thermal conditions, there is no doubt that you'll witness optimal performance. On installing the CPU cooler, you really have to be careful applying the thermal paste. When it comes to CPUs, there are some which already have an integrated heat spreader. In these cases, a piece-sized amount of thermal paste can guarantee proper distribution and impeccable heat transfer. But when the CPUs don't have such a method, a little more than a piece-sized amount or a small line may be required. But what happens when you go overboard with thermal paste? Well, an excess of thermal paste could minimize its use and overall result in overheating, so it's definitely not wise to go by the more the better saying here. And number 2 is not testing components before assembly. It is essential to test individual parts prior to the final putting together in order to spot any flaws or difficulties with compatibility. Before installing them, a breadboarding test verifies that the important parts, including the CPU, RAM, and GPU, are operating as intended. Furthermore, possible issues can be identified and resolved early on in this phase by utilizing diagnostic tools and software. It sure is amazing how much the internet has created ease for our lives. And at number 1 is lack of knowledge on grounding and anti-static precautions. Static electricity is probably one of your PC's biggest fears, and it's for a good reason, as it's something that you should be wary of too. It could severely hinder the whole process of putting the whole thing together. So how do we take care of this? In order to make sure that static electricity doesn't pose a threat to us, we must follow the necessary precautions such as wearing an anti-static wrist strap or grounding yourself regularly by constantly touching a grounded metal surface. You can make the environment even safer by conducting the whole building process on the safety of a wooden table or an anti-static surface, further minimizing the risk of static damage. But those are 9 mistakes that are all made by rookie gamers, which you definitely shouldn't. But in the next video, I'll show you 20 of the coolest gadgets for your room here in 2024, so don't miss out.